I call it as what? Simple. We call the Java language as simple programming language. We call the Java language as simple programming language. Am I clear here? It is called as simple programming language. Now, why do you call it as simple programming language? There should be some reasons, right? Why do you call it as simple? There are different reasons to call it as simple language there. Now, dear, the syntax of Java language, what you are trying to learn, is taken from the existing languages. The syntax of Java language is taken from existing languages. So learning and migrating to Java language will be simple for them. When syntax is taken from existing language, mean copied? Yes, dear, copied. Why, Praveen, copied? Dear, if they develop new syntax, people learning Java will become difficult. Now let's assume in this meeting, some of them have learned C language. You already learned C language and you are doing application development with the help of C language. Is the point clear here? You're doing application development with the help of, you're doing it already. Some of you learned C++ and you're doing application development with the help of C++. Now I release a new language with a new syntax called Java. Then what will happen, dear? I go to C fellow and tell I'm releasing a new language called Java. Then the C fellow will ask me, what will you do with this Java? Then I say, you can develop applications. You can develop applications. Then the fellow will tell, Praveen, I already learned C language. I'm already doing application development. Why Java? I don't require one more language. I go to C++ fellow also, the answer will be the same thing. No fellow will be interested to learn one more language, one more syntax. Then how, Praveen? To make, I cannot force everyone to learn. They have to learn out of their interest. Then what this Java people have done, dear? They copied the syntax of C, C++, COBOL, Pascal, existing programming language into Java. Why, Praveen? Now those people will feel easy to migrate. They'll not feel difficulty in migration because it is similar. It is similar to their languages. So they'll not have difficulty in migration, difficulty in learning. They'll comfortably migrate, easy for them, simple task. That is one of the reasons for success of the Java language in the initial days. The syntax of Java language is taken from existing language so that learning and migrating will become simple. They will not have any difficulty in learning and migration there. That is one reason. Now, is there anyone in this session who have learned C language? Is there anyone in this session who has learned C language? Don't worry, I'll not ask question there. Just tell yes or no. The people who have learned C language, is there any concept called pointers? Is there any concept called pointers? Now, how many people feel pointers are difficult? How many people feel pointers are difficult? Most of the people who learn C language will feel difficulty in what? Using pointer concept. Will feel difficulty in using the pointer concept. So what they do is they avoid using the C language. Sorry, they avoid using the pointer concept. They avoid using the pointer concept here. Am I clear here? They avoid using the pointer concept. Every programming language has some concepts which people feel difficulty in understanding, difficulty in implementing them. You got the point here? In every programming language, there are some concepts which people feel difficulty in understanding, difficulty in implementing them. So they avoid that particular concepts. Then if you're avoiding the concepts, then what is the use of such concepts in the language? Useless. C language pointers, C++ templates, virtual functions, operator overloading. People try to avoid these all concepts here. People avoid these concepts. Is the point clear here? So what we've done in Java language now here, all such kind of difficult topics have been removed from Java language. All such difficult concepts are removed from Java language. There are no such complex concepts here. Every concept in Java language is easy to understand, easy to use it. There's no complex topics, everything is simple. That is the reason we say Java is a simple language. And when I say Java does not have pointers, you should understand one point properly. Now it is something like I have a Yamaha bike and I start driving it. To drive that bike, I have to use my two hands and two legs. Left hand, I have to hold the clutch. Right hand, I have to do acceleration. Left leg, I have to change the gears. Right leg, I have to put a brake. So all these things I do. Bike is good only, but when I travel in traffic, I have to keep on changing the gears, accelerate, left, right, all things. What? Lot of activities I have to do. My two hands and two legs has to keep on working constantly. Has to keep on working constantly. Dear. Is the point clear here? No. So I travel for a lot of time on the road. I feel irritated changing the gears, accelerating, all these things here. So I throw that Yamaha bike and buy an Activa. Now tell me, driving a Yamaha is easy or Activa is easy? Driving the Activa will be easy. Why it is easy? Activa does not have gears. Activa does not have gears. Is it right? No, dear, that is wrong statement. We should not say no gear. We should say auto gear. Activa also have gears. For driver, there are no gears. When you accelerate, no, the gear will internally change from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3 automatically. Is the point clear here? So Activa have gears, but not there for driver. It is there internally. The same way when I say pointer concepts are not there in Java language, they are not there for programmer. They are not there for programmer. They are available in the language internally. Language will use it for you. You don't have to use it. For you, it is not there. For language, it is there. So we don't want to make the language small dear. We want to make the language simple for the programmer. That is the reason there. So what is the second reason I should say? All the complex topics of other languages have been removed from Java language to make it simple. Am I clear here? The complex topics have been removed to make it simple there. That is one reason. Now, when you are writing a program in any language, after writing the program, you need to execute the code. After writing the program, you need to execute the code. Am I clear here? After writing the program, you need to execute the code. And to execute the code, the program requires some memory. The program requires some memory. Is the point clear here? The program requires some memory, and that memory is taken from the system. Your system in which you are executing your program is going to provide the memory. So providing the memory to your program is called as allocation. Is the statement clear here? To execute your program requires some memory, and your system is going to allocate some memory to your program there. Allocate Providing that memory to your program is called as allocation. Providing memory to your program is called as allocation. So your program will take memory. And what? Do the execution. After doing the execution, you need to give the memory back. You need to give the memory back to your system. Giving the memory back to your system is called as deallocation. So take the memory, use it, and give it back. Any language you are supposed to do these two things, which is called as allocation and deallocation. Take the memory, use the memory, and then give it back. Am I clear here? Take the memory, use the memory, and then give it back. Do allocation, deallocation. Any language, C language, C++, Java, whatever names you call there, in every language you're supposed to do allocation and deallocation. But as a programmer, dear, what is the problem in language like C language, dear? You only should do allocation, you only should do deallocation. You want memory, take it and use it. Take it and use it. You don't want memory, you have to give it back. So you only should do allocation and deallocation. But we are a programmer, human being. We show more interest in taking, less interest in giving back. We show more interest in taking, less interest in giving back. And if you don't give it back, what happens, dear? You keep on taking, means you keep on doing allocation there. A stage will come, memory in your system will be over. Memory in your system will be over. There is no more memory in your system. So you'll have memory issues now. If you don't do deallocation, you keep on doing allocation only, memory will be over. System will not work. Your system will work only when there is a memory in your system. If there is no memory, so your system cannot work there. These are the issues in C language. So to resolve this problem, what happened in Java language, dear? They introduced a program called as garbage collector. This garbage collector is responsible for doing the deallocation of the memory. Programmer is not responsible for doing deallocation. Whenever you want memory, do allocation. Take it, use it. After that, forget it. You don't have to give it back. You don't have to give it back. It will be taken back automatically by your garbage collector. In Java language, by default, what? Deallocation is done by garbage collector, and in case you want to do also, it is not possible. It is 100% under the control of your garbage collector only. So your job is reduced. Out of 2 jobs, allocation and deallocation, we are doing only 1 job. Which job? Allocation. Our job is reduced, and memory issues are also resolved. So we call the Java language as simple language. So different reasons why we call Java as simple language. Am I clear here? Why you call it as simple there? Let me put one more word there. I call the Java language as what here? Secured language. What do you mean by secured language? When I say secure language here, when you're developing application here, in every project that you do, you'll be having some data, and that data must be protected. Data must be protected. If you are doing application development in language like C, there also you'll have data, and data has to be protected. But in C language, the data has to be protected by the programmer only. You have to write your own security programs for protecting your data. In Java language, you don't have to write any security programs. You don't have to write any security programs. Am I clear here? The language comes with inbuilt security. The language comes with inbuilt security. The moment you write a program in Java language, the data is automatically safe. The data is automatically safe. You don't have to bother about how to give security to your data in Java language. Java contains inbuilt security programs. That is the reason we call it as secured language. So in Java, we are not responsible for protecting the data. The language itself has security options there. For that, we need to understand a concept called access specifier, which we are going to learn in coming days. Access specifiers. Am I clear here? Since the Java language has inbuilt security programs, people call the Java language as what? Secured language. Secured language. Then let me put one more simple word there. What is that word I'm writing there? Portable. What do you mean by this portable? Java is a portable language. What do you mean by this portable language, dear? Have you heard about this word portable? Portable means what? Portable means what? Small. So Java is portable language means what? Java is small? No, dear. Using Java, we can develop portable applications. Now, what is the meaning of the portable applications there? Now, assume I'm sitting on a plastic chair. Plastic chair. The chair has 4 legs. Assume one of the leg is broken. One of the leg is broken. Then what can I do? I cannot do anything. Can I replace the leg with a new leg? Not possible, because the chair which is where I'm sitting, plastic chair, is a single piece, top to bottom. There are no parts. As long as it is working, I can use it. The moment it is damaged, that's all. I have no other option. Throw it and buy another chair. I cannot repair. I cannot do any replacement there. Not possible. You got the point here? Not possible here. Because it is one piece. I don't want such kind of development. If you're developing a project also, your project should not have single module. Assume you develop a project, single module, only one module. You spend 2 years writing a single module. Project is completed, single module. It is working properly, no issues. But in future, there is an issue in that project. Then what will replace there? Entire project is single module. That means you have to replace the entire module. That means again you require another 2 years of time for doing the replacement. That kind of development we don't want to do. Then how, Praveen? Then instead of developing one single module, develop multiple modules. 20 modules, 30 modules, make it smaller. The amount of time you spend is again same thing, 2 years only. but number of modules are more now. 20 modules are there. Same project, same task, same output. Nothing is different. We are divided into species there. What is the advantage, Praveen? Tomorrow, a problem is there. Problem will not come in all 20 models. Problem will come in one or two models. So what we'll do? We are going to replace that one or two models which has a problem. So we are going to save a lot of time, lot of money there. We want application development to be done like that. Modules. And that kind of development is called as portable development. And Java supports that portable development there. Java is a portable language, means using Java language, we can develop small components which can be replaced or reused according to your requirement. Modular approach. Make it small and use it. That kind of development is called portable development, and Java can be used for such developments. Am I clear there? Let's move on to one more word there. Can you read this word here? One of the important word, object-oriented. We call the Java language as a object-oriented language. Any language which follows object-oriented programming concepts. Any language which follows object-oriented programming concepts will be called as object-oriented programming language. Any language which follows object-oriented programming concepts will be called as object-oriented programming language. And there are many such languages available. Java is one of the object-oriented programming language. But apart from this object-oriented programming, there is one more style of programming available. There is one more style of programming available called as procedure-oriented programming. Languages like C language, COBOL language, Pascal language, they all follow procedure-oriented programming concepts. There are only two styles of programming there. Any language you pick up, either they have to be following procedure-oriented concepts or they have to be following object-oriented concepts. Only two styles of programming. Only two styles of programming available, either procedure-oriented or object-oriented. Now, if you take all the old language, C language, COBOL, Pascal, Fortran, they're all procedure-oriented programming language. That time we did not have object-oriented concepts. We have only procedure-oriented concepts, and people were using that concepts for doing the application development. But that procedure-oriented concepts have some drawbacks. Am I clear here? That procedure-oriented programming concepts have some drawbacks. So people, to resolve the drawbacks only, have come up with what? Object-oriented programming concepts. To resolve the drawbacks in procedure-oriented programming concepts only, they have come up with object-oriented programming concepts. Every drawback that you have in procedure-oriented programming concepts is being resolved in object-oriented concepts. Now, what are the object-oriented programming concepts that we'll talk in coming days? And before I explain you what are the object-oriented programming concepts, I'll even explain you what are the drawbacks of procedure-oriented programming concepts. We are not going to learn procedure-oriented programming concepts here, but definitely I'll make you understand what are the different drawbacks of procedure-oriented programming, why people have stopped using procedure-oriented programming, how they are resolved in object-oriented programming. These are all things we'll discuss in coming days here. But now we'll understand some basic points here. Any language in which the development is done with the help of objects and classes. If the application development is done with the help of objects and classes, then the language is said to be following object-oriented programming concepts. If the application is developed with the help of objects and classes, then the application is said to be following object-oriented programming concepts. This object and classes, what I am talking, are the fundamental concepts of object-oriented programming. They are the fundamental concepts of object-oriented programming. If there is no object, if there is no class, there is no object-oriented programming there. So let us today understand the meaning of the word called object and class. What do you mean by object and what do you mean by class? I mean, what do you mean by object there? Now, any entity, any item that exists physically in the real world, any entity that exists physically means what again? I can touch and feel. Any entity that exists physically in the real world and which requires some memory. I have water bottle with me here. I can touch it, I can feel it. And to place this water bottle, I require some space or not? I require some space on my table. To place my mobile, I require some space. Table is an object. Phone is an object. Bottle is an object. My chair is an object. My fan is an object. My door is an object. All are objects. Any entity that exists physically in the real world and which requires some memory will be called as an object. And which requires some memory will be called as an object. Is the point clear here? Now, every object will contain something called as properties. Praveen, what are these properties? Properties are the data which describes the object. Properties are the data which describes the object. Properties are the data which describes the object. Means what? I have water bottle with me. The water bottle has some color. It has some height. It has some shape. It has some quality. It has some brand. These are all called what? Properties of the bottle. The height of the bottle, the shape of the bottle, the color of the bottle, the material of the bottle, the brand of the bottle, the quantity of the bottle. These are all called what? Properties. Properties are nothing but the data which describes the object. Properties are the data, properties are the information which describes the object. Am I clear here? Any information, any data which is describing the object will be called as properties. And every object will have some properties. Along with these properties, every object also has something called actions. Actions. Every object will perform some action. What is action, Praveen? Action is nothing but a task performed by the object. What is my bottle doing? It is holding water. That is a task done by my bottle. What is my chair doing? It is giving me some comfort. What is my fan doing? It is giving some air. It is rotating, giving some air. What is my task? I am also object. I am existing physically. I have some properties, my height, my color, my weight, my name. These are all my properties. What is my action? Speaking to you, explaining, typing. This is my actions. You have your actions. Listening to the class, understanding, eating, sleeping, walking, chatting. different things you do. Every object in the world is going to have some properties and some actions. Number of properties and number of actions may differ. Am I clear? Number of properties and number of actions may differ. But every object is going to have properties and actions. There will be no object without properties and actions. There will be no object without properties and actions. Every object is going to have some properties and actions. Am I clear, dear? Properties and actions. Then what is the next word you see? Class. Have you heard about this class? What is class? Many people say class is a collection of objects. Don't tell that line here. Class is not a collection of objects. Then what is class? It is something like I would like to construct a building. This is the building I want to construct. Then if you want to construct the building here, what will you do? We require a plan. I go to civil engineer, I tell my requirements, the civil engineer will draw the plan and give me. And now I see the plan and construct a building according to that plan. To construct a building, do I require a plan or not? To construct an apartment, I require a plan. To construct a hospital, I require a plan. To construct a hotel, I require a plan. To construct a theater, I require a plan. Praveen, I have very big land, but I want to construct only one room. For one room, do you require a plan? Yes, dear, for one room also we require a plan. For one room also we require a plan. For one room also we require a plan. Where you will put the door, where you will put the window, you should have some plan. Maybe you don't have to go to civil engineer for constructing one room. You can do it yourself. But we need a plan, where to put the door, where to put the window. To take the class, I need to plan. To attend the class, you have to plan. You want to go somewhere, you have to plan. When to start, how to go, when to reach there, all those things you have to plan. Everything in the world you do with planning only. Some things we plan instantly, some things planning will take a lot of time. You want to go to a market and get some vegetables, you just plan. But you don't plan 10 days before for that one. You want to go for a tour. You plan it 10 days, 20 days, 1 month, 2 months also. Some people plan for years also. Your class is a plan for creating the objects. Class is a plan for creating the objects. If the class is not there, object creation will not be possible. No plan, no construction of building. No class, no creation of objects. You want to create object, you must have a class, and class is a plan for object creation. Am I clear here? So Java is a object-oriented programming language. Everything Java has to be in the form of objects. If you want everything in the form of objects, you need to create the objects, and to create the object, first we must have a class. So you need to learn now how to write a class, how to do the object creation, how to work on the objects. That is what you are going to learn. Am I clear here? Object-oriented programming. This is what we are going to learn in 1-2 days. How to write classes, how to do object creation, how to work on the objects. So Java is a object-oriented programming language, one of the important feature of the Java language there. Am I clear here? Different words there. No, let me put one more word. What is this word I'm writing here? Java is a platform independent language. You can call it as machine independent. You can call it as architecture neutral language. Kevin, what do you mean by this platform independent or machine independent or architecture neutral? Dear, when you write a Java program, you can write the program in one machine and execute the program on any machine in the world. You can write the Java program in one machine and execute the program on any machine in the world. Am I clear here? Write the program in one machine. You can execute the program on any machine, any platform, any architecture. Nothing can stop the execution of Java program there. How it will happen, that we'll discuss in the next session there. And then along with this word, we'll discuss some more words and then we'll do some programming there. Am I clear here? The next session will continue on today is Wednesday, right? The next session will continue on continue tomorrow. Sorry, tomorrow I'll not be available there. Tomorrow is Thursday, right? I'll not be available Thursday. We'll continue the next session on Friday as some personal work family commitments. So I'll not be there tomorrow morning, 1-2 hours. So I'll not be able to take the session tomorrow morning. So we'll continue the session back on Friday. Yes, Nikita, JDK, JRE, they're all Java software. We'll discuss that words now, slowly. You'll understand those all words. JDK, JRE, JVM. I'll discuss all those words. It is something like, this is your JDK. In JDK, you'll be having something called as JRE. And inside JRE, you'll be having JVM. This is how it will be available. So what are these all things doing? We'll discuss those points. What is JDK? Java Development Kit, Java Runtime Environment, Java Virtual Machine. This is only our first topic, JVM, Java Virtual Machine. Once I finish discussing, give an idea of Java, explain you some features, then we'll discuss the first topic as this only, JVM architecture we'll learn. What are the different components inside this JVM, how they work, what they do, all those things we are going to learn. Haribabu, what is collection here? Collection is not allocation. Collection is not allocation. Collection is storing group of elements together.